There are definitely tons of pros about Windsor, California, but there certainly are some cons as well. And that is exactly what we are going to get into in this week's video, the pros and the cons of living in Windsor, California, coming up. What's up, guys? My name is Danny M. Cronin. I'm a real estate agent right here in Sonoma County, and if this is your very first time to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I drop a video once a week, every single week, all having to do with living in Sonoma County, pros, cons, cost of living, neighborhood tours, all of the above. It's all covered right here on my channel, so if that interests you, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, I'm a full-time real estate agent apart from all of these videos. So if you or are thinking about moving here, or maybe you know someone thinking about moving here, I would love the opportunity to connect. All of my contact info is below. Call me, text me, email me, whatever is convenient for you. And without further ado, let's jump right into this week's video, which is the pros, the cons, Windsor, California. So let's start off with number one being a pro before we kind of get into the not so good things about Windsor, California. So number one for me, it definitely is a family-friendly city. I get people calling me all the time, and I get people asking me, Danny, I'm thinking about having a family, or I already have a family. What city do you recommend? And the number one city that I always say is Windsor, California. There is just something about Windsor. It's got a vibe, the family-friendly vibe. They have tons of parks all throughout Windsor. Their downtown section is amazing. It's called Windsor Town Green. Not only do we have beautiful scenery here and tons of amazing parks, but there is so many different things to do in Windsor. Number one being in their downtown area called Town Green, they have live music constantly, where it's called Summer Nights on the Green. They have music, they have farmers markets. You can walk around the downtown area. They got a candy shop over there called Craven's. So many fun things to do. And I mentioned they had a lot of parks, but I didn't mention they have a total of 13 neighborhood parks just inside of Windsor, California. Now that is definitely a good number of parks in one little tiny city. So pro right off the bat, number one has to be that Windsor is definitely a family-friendly city. Another funny point, I remember when my wife is from all over. She's been to San Francisco, San Jose, Santa Barbara, just about everywhere you name it, she has been there or worked there. And when she moved up here and we met, she would always tell me how crazy it is that Sonoma County has this many fun things to do, and Windsor specifically being high on the list. She just thought it was crazy. Like literally every single weekend, whether you're single, have a family, whatever the case is, there's always something fun to do. So I just thought I'd share that little bit of information from my transplant wife. So moving right along into the con, the number one con of Windsor, California. And I gotta share a personal story. When my wife and I were looking at buying another house, we obviously, my wife was pregnant. We now have a 2-year-old son, but when she was pregnant, we were thinking about upsizing. And the number one place we looked, other than Santa Rosa, because Santa Rosa is where I am born and raised, we did check out a couple houses in Windsor. And the thing that came very, very evident to me right off the bat was, for some reason, the houses felt really small and really, really close together. It totally felt like, it's weird being in real estate, seeing houses every single day, but when you're looking for yourself, you notice small things that you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work, or maybe this is gonna work. But the number one thing for us, it always felt like the driveways were pretty steep and short, and the houses were right next door to one another. I remember we were in the backyard of one of these houses. It was a 2-story house, and we were in the backyard, and it felt like all of the houses were, like, when we looked up, we could just see like 2 or 3 houses just right here. I don't know, for me, it just felt weird. It felt a little condensed, a little confined, if you will. But but it was definitely something that was super evident to both of us pretty early on in the home buying process. It was really, really weird. Now, obviously, I say that maybe that was it just because of the certain neighborhoods that we were looking in. I know other parts of Windsor are definitely a little bit more spread out, but for whatever reason, when we were looking, the houses, they felt really close together. Driveways were really, really short and narrow and kind of steep. So that for me is definitely a con. Pro number 2, I feel terrible saying this, but when I'm making a pros and cons list about any city in Sonoma County, I have to mention the location, which is basically what I do in every single one of these videos. I know you guys must hate it. I'm sorry, I apologize, but we are talking about Sonoma County, specifically Windsor, and Windsor is super close to just about everything. We're about 40 minutes to San Francisco. We're about 40 minutes to the beach. We're also super close to an airport here right in Windsor. I don't think many people know. It's funny, if you look up the Charles M. Schulz Airport on a map, it's gonna show it in Santa Rosa. And it's kind of like in that gray line. It's on Old Redwood Highway, which takes you from, Santa Rosa to Windsor, but it has a Santa Rosa address, but the Santa Rosa locals in Windsor, we all know that it is in Windsor. So it's just outside of the city limits, but super close access to an airport, which is amazing. I mentioned San Francisco, the beach. Obviously there's a number of different things to do in those two locations. So just being in such a central location like Windsor, I think is awesome. And con number 2 for me has to be parking in certain events and certain times of the year. I mentioned earlier, tons of events happen in Windsor just about every single weekend, depending on the month and weather. But parking, I remember specifically, so Windsor, they always have a 3rd of July fireworks show that happens in their downtown area called the Town Green. And I remember they had us park at Windsor High School, which was, a decent walk. It's not too far, but it's a decent walk to downtown area. And I remember trying to get out of there with all of the cars and all of the traffic. It literally took us, I want to say, over an hour just to get out, because once you get on kind of the main road there, Old Redwood Highway, it's super narrow until you get to the freeway. And obviously we were going south to head back to Santa Rosa. So I know it's like that in other, in other times during certain events, but I remember specifically parking and traffic around the 3rd of July fireworks show, nightmare. And pro number 3 for me has to be fun things to do. I mentioned earlier, certain things to do with a family. Now I'm talking to, just about everybody when I say there is tons of things to do in Windsor. You have great breweries. If you're a beer person, you got Russian River, you got Barrel Brothers. Russian River recently opened a location in Windsor, and it is absolutely gigantic. One of the biggest campuses I've ever seen. It's incredible. They serve great food there. Russian River has, in my opinion, one of the best beers in not only Santa Rosa, Sonoma County area, but just in basically all over. Russian River beer is amazing, and this place you absolutely have to check out. Go there, eat some food, but that's just one thing you can do there. There's tons of local breweries, but definitely a fun thing for me. When I was a kid, I used to do a lot of fishing. And we're in Northern California, not too many places to fish like there are in other places. But we did find this place, and it's called Riverfront Regional Park. They have 4 different lakes, so you can fish, you can swim. There's also a campground there, so if you're into the outdoors, hanging out, camping, getting nice and dirty, fishing, kayaking, whatever it is, you have to check out Riverfront Regional Park. Place is absolutely amazing. On top of that, there's golf, and the list goes on and on and on. There is a ton of things to do in Windsor, California. And that is going to wrap up this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. Drop a comment below. Give this video a big, big, big thumbs up. And of course, if you guys have any questions, specifically Windsor, Sonoma County, wherever in Sonoma County, please let me know. And as always, if you guys have any questions, you're thinking about buying, you're thinking about selling, all of my contact information is below. Call me, text me, email me, whatever is convenient for you. And we will see you on the next one.